You're listening to the Patenting for Inventors podcast with registered patent attorney, Dr. Adam Diamond, founder of Diamond Patent Law, the #1 source for securing your intellectual property needs. Now, here's your host, Adam Diamond.
Hello and welcome to the Patenting for Inventors podcast, episode 52, How to Amend Patent Drawings. My name is Dr. Adam Diamond, a registered patent attorney and founder and owner of Diamond Patent Law in Los Angeles, California. I can be contacted through my website at diamondpatentlaw.com. That's DIAMENT, patentlaw.com. Or, if that's too hard to remember, you can get to it through patentingforinventors.com. That's patentingforinventors.com. Or call me at 424-281-0162. And while most attorneys can only practice in states where they're members of that state's bar, patent attorneys are actually allowed to practice patent law in any state. So feel free to contact me regardless of where you live. In the last couple episodes, I talked about how to amend your claims. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to amend your drawings. So, why might you want to amend your drawings? Some common reasons are that the reference numbers that point to the parts that you drew, maybe you made a mistake or misnumbered them, maybe you duplicated a number by accident, maybe you just referenced a number in your written description and you forgot to include it in your drawing, or maybe you just included hand-drawn sketches when you first submitted your application and the lines aren't very clear, so you have to fix that up. One thing that is really important to remember is that you can't include in your drawings any new matter. You can't draw components that were never shown in your drawing. If you put in new matter, you're going to get an objection because that's not allowed. You'll have to file a new application if you want to include new matter. So if there are major things that you think have to be redone in order to make the drawings comply with what your invention is, then you might be out of luck for this application and you might have to do a new application. Now, sometimes that's okay and there are no major negative repercussions, but other times you're just out of luck. For this episode, I'm going to assume that the drawings that need to be amended are for relatively minor things. So how do you do this? You take the drawing sheet that needs fixing, and you have to take the whole sheet. And I say this because one drawing sheet maybe has 2 figures on it. If one figure needs correcting, you don't just resubmit that one figure. You have to submit that entire sheet. On the top margin of the sheet, in the middle, you write replacement sheet. You also have to number the sheet like you numbered it originally. So if it's sheet 1 of 4 in the original, you write 1/4. So in the replacement sheet, you also write 1/4. So it tells the examiner that you're replacing sheet 1 of your original 4 sheets. If you're doing something simple, just like adding a reference number, just fix it up and you don't need to do any other markups. When you respond to the objection in the text of the objection, you can just say what you did. You might say, the examiner noted that reference number 56 in figure 1 doesn't appear to point to the correct part. Applicant has submitted a replacement sheet 104, which contains the figure 1, and old reference number 56 is now reference number 58, which points to the correct part of the invention. That's a simple one. But let's say you have to do some major revisions, where maybe some lines were drawn incorrectly in a side view and don't really make much sense because you messed them up pretty badly, but you might have a perspective view in another figure. You can fix up that side view by actually changing a lot of the stuff because you aren't actually adding any new matter. All that subject matter is actually shown in the perspective view that you've shown already, but you just did a really bad job in originally showing that side view. If that's the case, you'll have to submit 2 things. You'll have to do the replacement sheet, but you'll also have to do what's called an annotated sheet. An annotated sheet is exactly what it sounds like. You show what changes you actually made. So it's the marked up version of your sheet showing what changes have been made, and the replacement sheet is the clean version that just shows the newest version of what your figures are. For the annotated sheet version, the marked up version, you take your original drawing and you can cross out and draw new lines with correct numbers, cross out old numbers, and in the top margin you write annotated sheet. You also write in the sheet number, like 1/4 if it's sheet 1 of 4. So how do you know whether you have to do an amended sheet along with the replacement sheet? The examiner should tell you in the office action that he or she is requiring you to do an amended sheet in addition to the replacement sheet. You can always do one yourself if it's not required, but if it's required and you don't do it, you'll likely get another objection to the drawings. One other thing you might need to do is include a new sheet of drawings. Remember again that you can't add new matter, but let's say you had a perspective view and you forgot to include a side view, but you really think it's just useful to have that side view. You do have to be careful that the side view doesn't actually have any new matter that wasn't shown in the perspective view, but in theory, you could add an entirely new sheet of figures, and for that, in the top margin, you write new sheet, and you put in new numbers. So if it adds an extra page, you might write 5/5, which means it's now the 5th sheet in a total of 5 sheets. Now, you'll likely not just get an objection based on the drawings and everything else in your application is okay. You might have to respond to an obviousness rejection or other things. When you write your response, you're going to have to address all the issues. So you're going to have a section on any claim amendments, a section on arguments against obviousness, and if there are drawing issues, you want to add a section and have it titled Amendments to the Drawings or Replacement Drawings. And after that, just explain what you did to the drawings and how you fixed them according to what the examiner said needed fixing. I also like to write on the very first page of the office action response everything that's included in the response. So not only will I write that remarks for drawing amendments start on page 7 of the response, but I'll also say that replacement sheets and annotated sheets are concurrently submitted with this response, so the examiner knows that drawings are being submitted and not just talked about. Now, the rules for all of this can be found in 37 CFR 1.121, which is all about the kinds of amendments, and 1.21D is the specific part about drawing amendments. Now, if you get an objection to the drawings in a design patent application, you're going to have to be much more careful because the examiner is going to scrutinize the drawing amendments really carefully, because in a design patent application, your invention is your drawings. So any minor modification in a drawing can be seen as a modification to what your invention is, which isn't allowed. You'd have to file a new application. In a utility application, the drawing isn't your invention. It's just a physical embodiment of what your invention is according to your claims and specification. So in practice, there's some more leeway in utility applications because you can argue better that you aren't adding anything new to your invention. You're just clarifying a view that's already been disclosed in the specification of the claims. That's not to say that you can't amend drawings in design applications. It's just that you have to be really careful about how you're changing things. And in your response, I'd recommend going into detail about how every line you're changing in a particular figure actually is shown in some other figure that you've already shown, so there's no question that you're not submitting any new matter. That's about it for how to make drawing amendments in patent applications. Remember to write on the top of each sheet either a replacement sheet or annotated sheet, which is the marked up version if the examiner requires it, or a new sheet, and then explain how you've changed your drawings in your written response to the office action. Next week, I'm going to go over how to make amendments to your specification of your application, which is primarily the written description of your invention. If you want help with your patent application, you can contact me through my website at patentingforinventors.com. That's patentingforinventors.com, or call Diamond Patent Law at 424-281-0162. I'm Adam Diamond, and until next time, keep on inventing.
Thanks for listening to the Patenting for Inventors podcast with host Adam Diamond. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review on iTunes. The contents of this podcast are intended for general informational purposes only. The facts of every legal matter are unique, and the content of this podcast should not be construed as offering legal advice for your specific legal situation. For more information and help with your own intellectual property needs, contact Adam Diamond at patentingforinventors.com. That's patentingforinventors.com. Or call Diamond Patent Law at 424-281-0162. The preceding information may be considered an attorney advertisement and does not establish any attorney-client relationship.